All right, so this video you will see step by step how to set up this riveter from Harbor Freight. But please don't follow step by step and pause, stop, and start and do step by step, because I made a massive mistake, and it's kind of entertaining. So go on and watch, subscribe if you think this is funny. I feel like an idiot, but we got the job done. So, all right, so today we are going to be setting up the Harbor Freight 1/4-inch air hydraulic riveter. Comes with a whole bunch of parts, and we're going to try and figure this puppy out. The instructions leave a lot to be desired. They talk about hydraulic fluid and how you have to take the bottom off. Doesn't really show you how you do all this stuff, so I am going to show you. So basically, what we got figured out here is the first thing that has to go is this rubber on the bottom. And then in the parts kit, they give you this little block here, this little Allen key. That goes right in there like so. And then you take the wrench, which not supplied, and take this bottom off like this. And you're going to want to put this on something clean, because the inside of this has oil, lubricant, and you're not going to want to get any kind of metal shavings on that, because that's actually the working part of the piston. This is actually technically the piston. So what they want you to do is to take a pair of pliers, not supplied, and grab a hold of this nut right here and pull this thing out. And as you can see, it's got a whole bunch of lubricant and nastiness all over the inside of it. So again, don't set that on any dirty surface, because if you do, it's just going to pick up everything that you set it on. So we'll set that here. Now, according to these instructions, it's saying to remove the base cover, which we just did, and use the wrench to unscrew and remove the air cylinder cap from the bottom of the riveter. That's that. The base, this is the base cover they're talking about. This is the bottom cylinder cap. Use a pair of pliers, not included, to grasp the nut and remove the piston head from the air cylinder. This is the piston head. Hold the air cylinder upside down and pour in hydraulic fluid, not included. The fill level should only reach the top of the housing. The top of the housing. All right, so on the top of the housing, you'll see that there's a hole right there. That hole goes here. That is where the air goes in. So obviously, we do not want to pour oil out of that, right? So, so hydraulic fluid. You're also going to want to put Teflon tape on this fitting, keep it from leaking. And hydraulic fluid. What can we use for hydraulic fluid? Well, you can go get actual hydraulic fluid, or you can do it the lazy way, like I'm going to do, which is to probably use motor oil or something, because that's all I've got, and motor oil is basically hydraulic fluid. It's just a thicker version of it. So anyway, it may be messy, but let me go get that. All right, so hydraulic fluid. Basic run-of-the-mill 10W30. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna pour this in here. Folks, this is the part where I really screwed this thing up. Don't pay attention to this. Ignore this part. Holy hell. Like so. We got this. Yeah, baby. All right. So you're going to fill it to the top of the housing. I don't know if I want to go any higher than that. Oh, that's a bad sign, isn't it? Look at that. It's leaking. Why would it be leaking? All right. So we'll put, oof, this is messy as shit. So we got the hydraulic fluid, right? Motor oil in there. And we're gonna go ahead and put this in here before we make a huge mess. Slide this into the hole like so. Oh gosh, this is gonna be a disaster. How do we get that in there? All right. Oh, it's spring loaded. Okay, so that's spring loaded. So if we take this, put this over the top of it, push that son of a bitch down in there. Wow, this is, ooh, baby. Yeah, don't do this somewhere you're worried about what you're getting on the floor. All right, I just need to catch a couple threads there. Come on, baby. Okay. Oh, we got a couple threads. All right, thank God. All right, so we'll spin that on there. Should have gotten some rags, folks. Oh, I'm completely covered in it. Look at this thing, it's bleeding. So we'll put this on here. Take the wrench. At least we know the wrench isn't going to rust after this. And tighten that bastard up. I guess you're not going to want to turn this thing upside down when you're done with it. All right, nice and tight, and then flip it over. Okay, there you go. Whew. May cause cancer in laboratory animals. Yeah. Now it's leaking out of the air inlet. Look at that. All right, folks, this is not the easiest thing. We're gonna pause so I can get all this off of me. So needless to say, this whole thing is a total and complete fucking mess. It's heavy now. It's got a lot of fluid in it. According to the instructions, that's what you're supposed to have. It keeps talking about adding tool oil to it. I don't really think it needs it. It said hydraulic fluid, we used 10W30. So hopefully that will fly. Good. I'm gonna guess it never is gonna need oil again, since it's bleeding oil everywhere. Yeah. All right, folks. So if you look in here at the instructions, you see here it says the fill level should only reach the top of the housing. So, I mean, on this thing, what would you think the housing would be? They got you taking the cap off the bottom, pulling the piston head out, fill it to the top of the housing, right? Wrong. You notice right here it says number 15, and if you manage to go through these convoluted instructions, you'll see that this says 15 housing on the next page. This is under the jaw cleaning and replacement part. So when they say housing, they mean this part, the bottom of the handle. So when they say fill it to the top, they don't mean fill it to the top. They mean fill it to the bottom. So we need to take this sumbitch apart and drain the oil out of it to the top of the handle, the bottom of, I guess you could call it the housing. Damn, this is going to be messy. Anyway, we'll just go ahead. Look, it's bleeding. Go ahead and put this thing in here. I mean, at this point, I almost feel like hardly have to put anything in it. It's gonna be choking oil out for a while. Yeah, for something that's oiled up, it sure doesn't want to come apart. Get that bastard on there good. Jesus. Just a pain in the ass. Holy hell. Yeah, tools ain't gonna rust for a while, for sure. All right. Ooh, yeah, there you go. That's nice. I'm gonna pull this plunger out of here somehow. I sure hope somebody didn't start this video and start doing what I did and then get halfway through, because I'm definitely not going to get a subscriber out of that. Okay, anyway, so top of the housing. So I just dumped out too much, I guess. Jesus. Okay, top of the housing. Fill this little hole in the top here. Go up to. All right, folks. This is the top of the housing. That little hole in the middle. Right? So, not this entire thing. Don't do like me. So put this piece back in the hole. Bam.
One eternity later.
So we'll go ahead and get this puppy back on there. It's a lot easier this time because it's not bleeding to death. Damn. There we go. Try to get her back in there. Make it so hard to thread this thing on.
A few moments later.
Sure hope this saves the amount of time that it took. Yep. Probably gonna go get me some brake cleaner. Get all this oily residue off this thing. All these oily rags. Put them up here. Yep. Yep. Oh yeah, that dries your hands right out. Clean all this thing off. They're all cleaned up. You got a cigarette? Nice. Oh, shit. Okay. That's probably not the greatest idea. I went to clean off all the oil with the carb cleaner. And as it turns out,
Taking the glue off.
that is not powder coated.
Oh.
So we learn a new thing every day. So yeah, it'll dry right back up. Thank God it's dry enough because it's not tacky, but that's good. All right. Okay. I'm married to it now. All right, so let's see what we got here. That. Take a little bit of Teflon tape here. Put that on the threads. Wrap it around the threads nice and neat like so. A couple times. And I'll break that off. Screw that puppy in there. Okay. We'll just snug this thing up into the housing. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the housing. That's the housing. This is the piston, I guess. And coming up next, we will drill a hole in a piece of metal, put a rivet in it, and find out if this thing's going to blow up and drown me in oil. Test number 1 of the Harbor Freight 1/4-inch pneumatic thingamybobby. So 90 pounds of air. Kind of got it in the hole. That spit a little bit of oil, but it'll probably do that a few times since I overfilled the bastard. Bam! We'll just have to
Get the oil out of it.
It's still spitting a little bit. Getting better. Hell yeah, baby. That's pretty good.
It's slick.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot easier than the manual way. So,
shit. Lost.
Subscribe if you want to see more stuff that I do that doesn't go as planned. It worked out, though. It's all good.